Hi guys, it's the analyst here to talk about the women's 100 meter hurdles. Oh my god, I feel like we are not talking about the women's 100 meter hurdles enough. Guys, okay. How do I put this? The women's 100 meter hurdles is by far the craziest event in the world right now and in track and field history. Did you guys hear what I just said? Not even the men's 100 meter during Usain Bolt's peak is as insane as what is happening right now. The fastest woman in history and the fastest woman alive is actively running. The second fastest woman, the third fastest woman, the fourth fastest woman. They're all active. The fifth fastest woman, the sixth fastest. The reason why fourth isn't active is because that was a world record holder before Kenny Harrison. That shows a European. But right now, literally, the top 10 fastest women in history, excluding number 4, they're all active and running. Not even in the Bolt era did this happen. Like, this is insane. Literally, any of these women could get up and break the world record. That's how insane it is. And I think in order for people to understand how insane the women's 100 meter hurdles is right now, I'm going to compare it to the women's 100 meters. No. How I'm going to compare it is this. Toby Amison's world record is 12.12. Flojo's is 10.49. So we could say, for example, that 10.50... Sorry. So between 12.13 to 12.20 is the same as 10.50 to 10.60, right? So technically what I'm saying is a 12.1 is the same as a 10.5, while a 12.2 would be the same as a 10.6, and a 12.3 would be the same as a 10.7. Stay with me. Earlier this year, Masai Russell ran 12.17, followed by oh god, what's her name? I'm forgetting her name. She had some huge debacle earlier this year with, I think it was Fred Curley, her boyfriend. If you guys remember the name, just tell me. If I remember the name, I'll say it. But Masai Russell ran an American record of 12.17, and the second American ran a time of 12.19. So they both took down the American record in the exact same race. And that 12.17, of course, is just 500th of a second outside of the world record of 12.12. No. So, of course, that would practically be 2 10.5s in one race. Do you guys remember when Shelly ran 10.60 and Elaine finished closely behind her in 10.64? That is the only time in history 2 women ran sub 10.7 in one race. No, remember, that is just 10.60 and 10.64. Imagine 10.57 and 10.59. That is what happened with that 12.19 and that 12.17. Stay with me. The other day, Masai Russell ran 12. Was it 12.19? Yeah, right. I think it was 12.19, or is it 12.17? If you guys tell me if I'm forgetting. I think it was 12.19. Yeah. Masai Russell runs 12.19. Mind you, that's equivalent to a 10.5. Tonya Marshall runs 12.24. That's equivalent to a 10.6. Toby Amusan runs 12.25. That's equivalent to a 10.6. Daniel Williams runs a PB of 12.31. That's equivalent to a 10.7. Fifth place runs I think he's at 12.32 for fifth place. Oh god, who came fifth? I'm trying to remember who PB'd in fifth place. Jeez. Daniel followed by I don't remember who PB'd, but I know they PB'd. That much I know. So a PB. So just imagine a women's 100 meters race where a woman runs 10.5, second place runs 10.6 slow, third place runs 10.6 mid, Fourth place runs 10.7. Fifth place run 10.7. That is what happened a few days ago. If you want to understand how insane the women's 100 meter hurdles is, imagine a 10.5 followed by two 10.6s followed by two 10.7s. That is what happened a few days ago. These women are running insane times. Literally, anytime a siren steps to the track, she can challenge or break the world record. Toby Amusan ran, I think it's her third fastest time ever, and she herself could challenge or break her own world record at any given point. Mind you, if you rewatch that race, Toby was at the back. Everybody was here, Toby was here, and by the race done, Toby reached here, so right past everybody except for Tonya, Marshall, and Masai. That Toby has the most insane top end speed you will ever find over the hurdles, whether men or women, 100 and 110 meter hurdles. Her closing speed is insanity. Now, imagine if Toby Amusan had gotten a decent start in that race. Toby would have probably run 12:13. So that's what I mean when I say these ladies could literally get up and run a world record. Of course, I'm Jamaican, so I'm going to bring up my girl, Megan Tapper. Megan Tapper ran 12.34 to become the national champion in Jamaica. Then she goes and she takes down the field in Monaco and she runs 12.34 into a minus 1.1 headwind. When you do the conversion at zero wind, that's a 12.2. If you bring it to, like, for example, a 1.5 and positive wind, that's even, she could even find herself in the 12.1 realm. So that's how insane it is, where even Megan Tapper could get up and run 12.1 or 12.2 once conditions are right, and she's her body is peaked for it, she's in the right mindset, everything is going right. You get what I mean? Nadine Visser challenged Masai. So Nadine Visser ran at 10.5 in the heats in the women's 100 meters hurdles the other day. Of course, when I said 10.5, I mean 12.2. So she goes and she runs, I believe it was 12.24 in the heats in order to beat Masai and Megan. And you're like, whoa, a European running 12.2? What? And then the final comes and they place Masai and Nadine beside each other. And boom, the gun goes off. And guess what? Nadine was keeping up with Masai. Nadine and Masai were neck and neck up to like 50 meters. And it's almost like as Nadine was about to pass Masai, Nadine clips a hurdle. And it kind of derailed her race. But you have to ask yourself, what if Nadine had been able to maintain with Masai? That would have probably pushed Masai to all at 12.14. Who knows? And that would have probably pushed Nadine to probably like all at 12.18, which would shatter the European record of 12.21. So the fact that Nadine literally came out of nowhere. Now, don't get me wrong. Nadine is a great athlete, one of the fastest women in the world. But for Nadine to run 12.24, nobody had expected that to happen at all. So, and this just shows you the insane depth that we have in the women's 100 meter hurdles. Nadine ran 12.24 and she got clippy hurdle in the final. Had she not clipped the hurdle, what could have happened? No. So far, I have mentioned Masai, Toby, Megan, Nadine. Danielle Williams, I believe it was it 2015? The 2015 and the 2023 world champion over women's 100 meter hurdles ran a personal best of 12.31 for fourth place. 12.31 for fourth place. I don't think you guys understand how insane that is. 12.31 used to be an elite of the elite time, and now it's just regular. If you're not running 12.2, nobody's even looking at you, and yet Danielle is very close to 12.2 herself. Danielle could get up and probably skip 12.2 and run 12.1. That's how insane this event is. I have yet to bring up the 100 meter hurdles queen. Of course, that is Camacho Quinn. Camacho doesn't leave without a medal. Camacho has medaled at every single global championship over the women 100 meter hurdles since 2021. She won gold in 2021. She medaled in 2022, 3 and 4. And the only reason why she won't medal this year is because unfortunately she's dealing with injuries, and so she's pulled out for the season. But trust and believe, had she been running, I would already wrap her medal around her neck. I haven't talked about Brittany Anderson, who is also one of the fastest women in history. Brittany, she got pregnant. Well, she was dealing with injuries, and then she got pregnant. She had her baby. Congratulations for that, Brittany. Brittany is also one of the fastest women in history, and one of the fastest women active. These women are Tonya Marshall, run a personal best of 12.24. That's 8 women so far, all of whom could challenge the world record at one point, Tonya Marshall, Kenny Harrison, the former world record holder, until Toby Amusan grabbed the world record in the semis in 2022. Elainethompson Johnson, she's my favorite American hurdler, Elainethompson Johnson. That's 10 women who could challenge the world record. In which event in history have you ever heard about 10 women, 10 athletes who could challenge a world record on any given day? And okay, let's say we take out Brittany because, she's away. We take out Camacho because, she's dealing with injuries. Let's say we take out the 12-3 women. So that would be, for example, Megan and Danielle. We would still be left with 6, 12.2 and 12.1 women who could run a world record. You get what I mean? So I just really hate how underspoken about the women's 100 meter hurdles is when it is so insane. Of course, earlier today, Nadine Visser. Again, Nadine Visser. A lot of persons were saying that had she been able to execute fully, she'd have either came right very close to defeating Masai the other day in Cilicia, or she probably would have defeated Masai. Well, Nadine proved that could have been true because Nadine Visser took down Masai Russell. Let me say it again. Masai Russell, the Olympic champion, who is the only woman in history to go sub 12.2 twice, was taken down by Nadine Visser today in the pouring rain. 12.4 into a headwind. And 12.4 is no longer fast, which is insane work. Yeah? Nadine took down Masai. And so that just really shows you that, one, the women's 100 meter hurdles is the most unpredictable event in the world. At any day, any of them could win, or any of them could just flop because they're just going so fast that they just can't bring it in a race. So, the fact that Nadine took down Masai shows you that none of these women are unbeatable and any of these women could win. Nadine literally came out of nowhere and run 12.2 and then boop, she takes down the Olympic champion. So I am so appreciative of the women's 100 meter hurdles. The women do not duck. Let me repeat. The women's 100 meter hurdlers, they don't duck each other like the women 100 meter runners do, or the 200 meter runners do. Because we know that Elaine and Shelly are be avoiding each other. We know that Sharika them and Shakiri, all of them, they be playing these mind games and this tit for tat. The men 100 meter, they do the same. You see how Kishan pulled out of Lasan. So they're always playing these mind games. Even the 400 meters do it. The 200 meter runners do it. Seville and Kenny. They're always playing these mind games. If you pulled out of there, I'm going to pull out of there just because you pulled out. Or I don't want you to gauge me, so I'm going to pull out. The 100 meter hurdles women, they don't play those games. They come and they compete. They don't care who you are. They're competing. They don't care if you're the world record holder, the Olympic champion, or the world champion. They're competing. In one race, you find... And the other day, we found the Olympic champion, the world champion, the fastest woman in history, the second fastest woman in history, the third fastest woman in history. All were in the exact same race. The woman with the Diamond League record was in the exact same race. You get what I'm saying? Like, what is happening in the women's 100 meter hurdles? And why is no one talking about collectively the greatest event in an era in history? This has literally never happened before, not even during the Bolt era. Not even during the Bolt era. Listen, I can't wait for people to really start giving these women their flowers, and I'm going to be so disappointed if this era passes and we don't give these women their flowers for being so insane. But yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing what else these women bring. Of course, Megan Tupper is my baby. I definitely feel like Megan will be medaling this year. And once Megan gets it right, you know, who knows, it just might be gold. Of course, Masai Russell is the favorite, no question about that. If I were to give out 3 women who I feel are very solid in terms of medal placement, whew, that's a hard one, to be honest. That's a hard one. But I would say, I'm going to give 4 women because it's so hard, to be honest. I'm going to say Masai Russell, and this is in no specific order. Masai Russell, Megan Tupper, Akira Nugent, I'm giving 5 women. You see what I'm talking about? I can't even pick a top 3. So I'm going to give 5. Masai Russell, Megan Tupper, Akira Nugent, Nadine Visser, and Ditaji Kambundji. Those are my top 5 going into Tokyo. Oh Jesus, I forgot about Daniel Williams, who always comes clutch in finals. You see what I'm talking about? How could I forget Daniel Williams? And that is what I mean. These women are insane. Give them props and highlight it. So yeah, man, I'm so impressed with how fast these women have been running, and I can't wait to see what else they bring. I feel like I didn't talk about Akira Nugent enough. Akira has been running, it's a tiny bit inconsistent. However, I am not going to complain because her intention is to peak for Tokyo. It is not to peak during the season. So if she comes and she runs loaded and it's not as fast, but then, you know, she offloads and she runs a bit faster, then that's fine. She's been running very well. She's been running some very fast times as well this season. I just need Akira to get back into that mindset that she had during college, where nowadays Masai is beating Akira more than Akira is beating Masai, but back in college, Akira had Masai in her pocket. I want Akira to get back to that mentality of having the fastest woman in your pocket. Okay? Akira, do that for me and let's go. I definitely feel like Akira can do a lot. I definitely feel like she can medal. So I just want to see what her women bring to the table. No. And a Jamaican sweep just came across my mind, but I'm going to pretend it didn't. But come on. Megan, Daniel, Akira. It's possible. But Masai is going to make it hard because Masai's mentality coming in this year has been amazing. Masai is so determined. She's so confident. She's so, self-assured. Earlier this year she had an injury, and that, I thought that injury would derail her season, and she came back and she was like, derail what? And she slapped down everybody at the US trials, and she's been on a whole other level. So I'm just very impressed by all these ladies, and I can't wait to see what they bring. But yeah, this video is gone on way too long. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for giving a listening ear. Albert the Analyst signing out. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Bye.